Jeff Sangpil, the postdoctor here. So you thought AI was smart. So then why did all of your homegrown artificial intelligence POCs fail? Why is this so difficult? Ah, the wonders of brand new technology. First of all, you aren't the only one. A 2025 study from MIT discovered that 95% of pilots and POCs involving AI fail. They delivered no value whatsoever. Of course, a slew of articles come out afterwards saying, no, they're all wrong. Shadow AI rules all. So what's going on here? What is that $44 billion being spent on in the AI space? Has AI been just doing the Summer Friday thing? 30% of tasks in July given to AI to finish were left undone. How are we on that way to AI's $6 trillion contribution to the global economy? Are we stuck in artificial ennui? Do all prompts lead to meh? Why are certain targeted technologies doing well, like Adobe's Firefly and Quickture's AI editor in our M&E space? And why am I getting less time editing, more time directing ads on my phone for edit via a prompt app? Focus. It's about the focus. Let's go back a few years and look at how things worked in the job market. How did that all work for hiring natural intelligence? Or were they meatbags? Oh, wait, people. That's what we have to call them now. Things have iterated, I guess. The process kind of went like this. Hey, HR, we need to hire someone to do these things. Here's the list. We're willing to pay X to have someone do this list and understand that, X is X plus 30% for benefits, all that fun stuff. Important thing here is we have a list of important things for this employee to do. The job description used to attract the person contains an abbreviated version of that list called responsibilities. Then a whole bunch of people are going to apply for the role. People who then talk to those applicants from inside your company. Are they going to be able to get the list done? Will they bring more to the table than just the list? Do they promise not to cook fish in the break room microwave? Please. How well are they going to fit into or impact our company's culture? We determine all these objectives and then we hire someone. And then we train these folks on how our company does things. We train them in how work is going to be delivered to them, to their attention, to get done, and how they're going to fit into the entire workflow. We know that our company does things a little bit differently than others, and to expect the results to need to be adjusted because what they learned in college isn't necessarily going to be the detailed thing they need to get this job done. Psst. So the AI folks call this results augmented generation, or RAG. It's going to be important later on. These adjustments change over time as the work changes, or in our case, the media, the workflow, or the show changes. How you work on a game show is a lot different than how you work on a documentary or the evening news. So then after 90 days with this person, if HR team's doing their job right, we sit down and I'll review how well they're fitting into the company. In some cases, the work is more project-based or has smaller teams, and there's going to be things like reviews or retrospectives as projects get done, and hopefully in very few cases, postmortems. Work gets checked out, and it gets adjusted as things move on down the calendar with that employee. We talk about how things are going, and we make course corrections for the future to ensure that what we expect from the natural intelligence is what we expect. We also determined that if we've been trying to course correct and if the person just isn't getting it, that person may not be the best fit like we thought they were. And we send them on their way. So let's pop to today. So we have someone who walks into the CFO's office and says, hey, we want to try out this employee we heard about, and we think they can possibly do this huge, incredible, expanded list of things for us. We're going to hook them up with the most expensive computer hardware we can get our hands on, have them use our power and cooling 24/7, or hey, we'll hook them up with the largest cloud compute instance we can spin up, and we hope they get this gigantic extended list of all these things done. It's going to include a bunch of things we don't even think about doing today because we like to think about those things, and we think we might do yearly reviews for them, and we'll have them figure out the work based upon information about us and how we operate and our workflows that was only publicly available from 2 years ago because we didn't really want to pay to train them. You'd be laughed out of the CFO's office asking for an employee that way. Who wants to spend large amounts of money in consumables or hardware when we don't have a role for this person? No actual ROI is what the finance peeps would say. That's the first failing in AI in an organization. You don't know what it is you want it to do for you. For a human, you determine the use case for them. You determine exactly what you need them to do. Then you review the work over and over to ensure it's right. With AI, you need the same type of workflow for your artificial employee that you had for your human employee. Figure out the exact business need you would like to solve. That's the ground rule for bringing aboard an employee, and needs to be the ground rule for bringing aboard artificial employees as well. If I would like to go through all the media in my archives and do X, that's not really enough. The case needs to be based on needs, real business needs, not nice to haves. Nice to haves generally don't make money for an organization, and they waste resources. So let's get into a real world use case. We want to stop our long standing sponsor relationship with car company X and have a new relationship with car company Y for a television or streaming series that follows rideshare drivers and their lives. It's going to be really fun. There's a lot of old seasons, so I'm going to need to have every instance of those 20 logos that have to do with car company X located in the 180 hours of finished show that's already out there, and then get that blurred out. And then I need to locate every possible instance of logos or vehicles from car company Y so that their blurred logos in the 180 hours of show material can be replaced with those unblurred shots. And then every possible vehicle B-roll shot that involves a car from car company X replaced with a car from car company Y. There's 30,000 hours of original material. It's a reality show. We need to go through all that, find what we need, and we can then make the changes. I need this done quickly as the show can't be aired or streamed without those changes due to customer concerns about car company X. It's an outside factor. It doesn't have to do with my company. With a real world use case like this, it's the justification to get the work done. The media company can't air the shows as is any longer, and no longer is receiving revenue from multiple sources for the material they already have. It leads to discussions on if it can be afforded or done quickly enough to accomplish the goal. Change the sponsor. Now, that's a use case. Then the roles get to be determined to see who's going to do the work. Some of the work will need to be accomplished by editors, but sifting through 30,000 hours of footage, it's going to be a large team, and it's going to take a significant amount of time. That team is beyond what we actually can afford to get the work done. This is where an AI use case actually comes in. There's work to be done that we will not do with a large staff as it is beyond the budget. So if we put AI to the task so the smaller team can get to the goals, we can get this whole thing accomplished now. It begins to make perfect sense. Let's boil this down to the TLDL. What specifically do I need done for my business? Okay, so AI makes sense for some of the work. Then this gets to the next part of the problem a lot of people run into. I gave it a prompt, and the results just sucked. The media and entertainment industry has used automation for years. We're used to that level of performance. I drop the file into the one folder, and the transcoding cluster picks it up, turns it into what I want, and puts it into another folder for either me to pick up or the next process to pick up. Media people are used to consistency in this sort of thing. The first piece to understand is that AI doesn't give the same exact result each time. For example, two ChatGPT windows, same exact question, not the same answer. Some of the same information, but these don't match. So I can't expect the consistency of automation from artificial intelligence. If it's automation I want with the exact same response every single time, I'm wasting time with AI on my creative side. I need to determine if exact results are expected. The other part to this is that you need to train the models to do what it is that you want. When I ask an LLM, large language model based search, to go through hours of footage and find me Michael Jordan or Walter Payton or Ryan Sandberg, are you catching a pattern here? It'll find them. They're famous people. But if I ask it to show me my daughter, it doesn't find an image. I tested this and trying to find myself, and it did. Color me famous too. The point being is that I need to get the results I need. And to do that, I need to engage in training, just like I train my human employees. This process is either creating a new LLM, and that cost is going to be somewhere between $10 and up to $20 million. Your mileage may vary. So what I need to do then is, instead of creating that new model, I need to add something known as domain-specific expertise to my work. I need to create a knowledge base of important and relevant data for the system to relate to. Pictures of people that could be in the footage, samples of voices, logos of car companies. It's all to augment that original training data that an AI system will know about. It's kind of like handing that intern with a college degree the standard procedure sheet for your company and a diagram of your workflow. They knew some things coming in, now they know more. TLDL on that. You need to add specific data to the system to supplement generic models. And now a little something known as lather, rinse, repeat to those that celebrate shampoo. You need to check the results. You need to try again with a slightly different prompt. You need to make sure that your RAG database is current. You need to check the results. You need to try again with a slightly different prompt. Asking it to take into consideration what is already known. You need to check the results. You need to try again with a slightly different prompt. Are you getting the picture here? Iteration is important. Iteration is very important. Iteration is key to fine-tuning results. Iteration is the way to help your system to deliver the results you need to provide the return on an investment you put into the AI system in the first place. I think you're getting what I'm iterating here. You have to be involved. Simply throwing everything at the AI and say, go to town. It's going to move you down the road somewhat, but if you think that machine learning or ML is just part and parcel of the whole AI package, there's some of that, but not for where you are right now. You're at the results stage. The machine learning goes back to those training of the models that happened in the first place. The learning that happens when that system goes over and over and over data that you have curated for it after you have designed, built, and trained the neural network to do that. It's algorithm time. But that was back when the ML side was built. You do have the reinforcement learning from human feedback in some systems, which won't make huge changes, but it is crucial to your system understanding and adapting to what you're asking of it. But it doesn't have the ability to engage in gigantic changes that an entirely new model will give you. But if you need to give it something, let's go back to my ChatGPT results for the same questions that had different answers. When I tell the system which prompt is more tuned to my needs, the system then has a reference to that and can give me more tuned responses going forward. It's called proximal policy optimization. It's an algorithm. That's a mouthful. But since many simply try to throw more data, that RAG data, at an existing model and never try to rank responses or iterate their asks to get better responses, not being involved, its results are going to decay further and further from what you're in need of, and it's just simply burning money to give you nothing. And instead of having a chat with your AI and the Inhuman Resources Department about how they can improve, is that a thing? Inhuman Resources Department? It should really be a thing. But you don't do that. You just fire the bot. They aren't going to file for unemployment and all that money stops flowing their way. So then the CFO has questions for you and your spend and now has specific perceptions of how AI works or doesn't work. And those new models we talked about, well, since you're not going to be making them, they come from the internet. And many of us in media try to avoid touching the internet. You can see where the catch-22 is here. Most core reasons for AI failure in a workflow are human failures. Preconceived notions about AI. Many of us just simply know that
my CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer. The more contact I have with humans, the more I learn.
We haven't actually taken the time to discover how all of this does work. Or we have our preconceived notions about what AI is going to do to the workforce. Remember our car and car logo replacement project? We can't afford all those people to do that work, and the series goes dark. It needs to be done differently so those humans who do have the jobs that do the non-AI part have something to do. And since those humans can spend more time on that non-AI part, it allows the whole pipeline to have more work go through it. So it's a smarter pipeline, and that's going to result in better revenues. So how do you avoid failure in your roll your own AI POC? One, have a real business use case that you're looking for results on. Running AI as a science project to see what it might do, well, that's cool for the nerds, but it won't get you there with the finance people. Two, you need to have real humans behind these use cases. Pick the people that are going to need this improved data, and they need to be invested, involved, and iterating the asks. And three, this isn't just another computer or technology rollout. AI is going to require work, and that means having people change their behavior. They need to get those feet wet with just how the AI you're trying to implement needs to help to get there. You train the humans, you train the AI. This isn't magic. It doesn't just happen, and the systems do not
learn at a geometric rate.
So then when you go back and you read the rebuttals to those AI failure articles, again, we pop up with the haven't taken the time. A lot of POCs are based upon short-lived runs. I mean, our industry is based upon short-lived runs. Any system is really going to take some time for everyone and everything to come to terms with what it's going to need to do. It will also take time to show the true ROI. Make sure that time is available to show the real results. And also, if you find that your actual goals and business needs for AI align with a product that's already bespoke, modeled, and operational for that purpose that others are using, remember, it's the focus. They do one thing really well, and since they do that one thing, they have laser focus on the target. You didn't build your own camera or nonlinear editor. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Use that product. Simply stand on the robot's shoulders of those who've made it work and admire the view. And the monetization. If you don't have the skills to get to this point, there are folks that do, and there are applications that do. Drop me a line. I'll get you set up with some smart peeps who can figure this whole thing out for you and help you to success. I'm the Post Doctor, and hasta la vista, baby. It would be greatly appreciated if you could like and subscribe.